Well, hey, church. Well, as we continue in these very strange COVID-19 days, our East Cooper music and worship staff has been praying for you and working on ways that we can continue to encourage you in worship. One thing we'd like to do is provide you with some short videos of psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs, sort of a brief song, story, and devotional thought and a musical presentation of songs by some of our staff and church members. These may be about some hymns and worship songs that we are familiar with and sing a lot in our services in both venues. But there may be stories about older hymns or new songs and that we don't do much or we want to be introducing to you or just need to be brought to your attention. Church songs often have rich stories behind them demonstrating God is at work through an assortment of people. And music plays a vital role in the life of the church and the spiritual lives of God's people throughout history. For example, following hundreds of years of dormancy during the Middle Ages, congregational singing was rediscovered after a revival. The Reformation took place. And throughout history, evidence shows that spiritual revival results in an outburst of new church song and healthy congregational singing. Today's thoughts center upon one such hymn, "Be Still, My Soul." This is a hymn which we have done before, but we don't do it very often. But it has been running around in my head and heart personally during these days of quarantine, and I thought it might encourage you and bless you as well. Hear the words of the Lord. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth." And Isaiah 40:31 says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." These must have been some of the verses running around in the head and heart of Katharina von Schlegel when she penned the words of this hymn, "Be Still, My Soul." And after the rebirth of faith in the 16th century, the church again grew cold and non-evangelistic in the 17th century until another spiritual revival took place, the Pietistic revival. And that one focused on individual spiritual renewal and devotion and characteristics like humility as believers sought to live a vibrant Christian life that made a difference in the communities in which they were living. Participants in this revival believed that Christians could point back to an inner struggle of sin in their life that brought about a crisis that ultimately led them to make a decision for Christ and to begin a new Christ-centered life that made a difference where they lived. The Pietism movement served as a major influence on a number of religious leaders, including people like John Wesley. And many songs and hymns were birthed out of this revival, including "Be Still, My Soul." And as I mentioned earlier, the words to "Be Still, My Soul" were first penned in German by hymn writer Katharina von Schlegel. Now, little is known about her life except that she lived between 1697 until about 1768, spending much of her adult life living in a Lutheran residence for unmarried women who desired to live a simple life of faith. Von Schlegel sought a deeper walk with God and wrote many poems, hymns, and psalms, and in 1752 she published a portion of her work in a collection of spiritual songs, including the words to "Be Still, My Soul." And 100 years after von Schlegel first published her works, renowned English scholar and translator Jane Borthwick converted von Schlegel's words from German to English. And several years later, these words found a home with the tune written by Finnish composer Jean Sibelius called "Finlandia." And the hope-filled tune and the hope-filled words were married together to the hymn that we know today. Weaving through a span of lifetimes, God used the talents of 3 individuals from different countries to collaborate and provide the church with a hymn that reminds us believers of the biblical truths found in Isaiah 40 and 46. Listen to the words of the first verse of this hymn. "Be still, my soul. The Lord is on thy side. Bear patiently the cross of grief or pain or COVID-19 weirdness. Leave to thy God to order and provide. And in every change of life, he faithful will remain." Now, you and I don't know how God is going to use us or what we do today or how we live in this time in the future. It's one reason why guarding our witness, especially in a time of crisis, especially in a time like we are in these days, is so important. As believers, we can rest in the knowledge that if we do our best to live a vibrant Christian life today, God will surely use it to bless others tomorrow. And who knows, maybe God is using this time to bring us through to another revival, an outpouring of strong worship and Christian singing. So rest in the Lord. He's got this. Be still and know. Be still, my soul. May the text and the tune of this hymn bless you as you listen.